Shira, shut up. Hey guys, it's Shira, your Fridays here on the Unique 5. And this week's theme is back to school week. So I thought that I would do some tips for middle school because I'm going into high school. Hooray. I mean, these tips probably work for anything, but I've never been in high school, believe it or not, because, you know, I'm gonna be a freshman. Just a side note, if the lighting is really bad, it's because it's like 6 p.m. and the sun is behind the trees, so I'm using a lamp. So I'm gonna try to make this as not boring as possible, but I'm probably not gonna succeed. And I think I already screwed up the video from this point, so whatever. So tip number 1 is just be yourself. Don't be afraid to be like someone you're not. I know, like, going into middle school you have all this pressure to be cool and to fit in because this is like where you make your friends for high school and your high school friends are your friends for life. Honestly, if you're not going to be yourself because you feel like yourself doesn't make friends, then you're not going to make friends who like you for yourself. You're going to make friends who like you for the you're not actually. In other words, you want to make friends who like you for you because then you can make friends that you have a lot of because then you can make friends that you have a lot of things in common with, and then those friends you'll have for life and not get into big problems later. Tip number 2 is to try to stay organized in preparation for high school because you don't want to get into bad habits. Like if you're like, oh, it's just 7th grade, I can pick up my shape next year, and you kind of just lazy your way through the year, then in 8th grade, it's going to be so much harder to do work, so you're not going to want to, and then freshman year is going to come, and then it's just going to be a big mess. So in other words, if you start off organized in 7th grade when it's easy, by the time you get to a harder grade or harder classes, it's not going to be that hard to stick to your good habits. Let's make good habits, children. Good habits. Ow. Tip number 3 is to be mature and don't try to act all cool. It gets really annoying, especially when, so when I was in 7th grade, I was annoyed with my grade half the time because they were being immature or trying to act all cool and stuff. And then when I'm in 8th grade and people have matured, I'm like, hey, they're actually not that bad as humans. But then there's the 7th graders who are into that immature phase. So, you know, maybe you should help get your grade on the right track so teachers actually enjoy you guys. Because you always want that. Tip number 4. This is kind of like staying organized and staying out of bad habits, but it is to stay on top of things, because when just stay on top of things. It'll make things so much easier in the future. Like if you write down plans you make, or if you write down all your homework and organize how you're going to do it, you're going to get home and be like, oh yes, that saves me like 5 minutes. But that 5 minutes is going to add up because you get to finish 5 minutes earlier. Rather than if you hadn't organized what you were going to do, you're going to get home and be like, do I have to do this? Procrastinate an extra 30 minutes, and then you're going to have to plan out how you're doing what. And then it's just going to be a big mess because you're going to be tired and you're not going to put in your best effort. If that makes sense. Tip number 5 is don't procrastinate. I can't express that enough, as I am a procrastinator and it sucks. Just get things out of the way. I like to get things out of the way, I just don't. But when I do, it makes things so much easier. Like if you have a project that you can finish in a week and you get a month to do it, a lot of people will be like, yeah, I'm just gonna spread it out, do a little each day. If you can physically finish it in a week without dying, do it in that first week, and then you don't even have to worry about it. It's so much better. It's out of the way, you get more free time. Tip number 6. Don't just go for the people that are gonna be making you cool or whatever. Like, if you're like it's a new school for you and everybody already has their cliques, don't just be like, well, those people are popular and they want me to be their friend, so I'm just gonna be their friend. If they're the right people for you and you guys have the same personalities or whatever, then go for it. But don't just be friends with them because they're gonna make you cool. That's not gonna be very useful, because then you're gonna be stuck bored, hurt, whatever. It's not gonna result well. Tip number 7. I cannot stress this enough. Do not let people borrow your pencils. I understand halfway through the year, but if people are asking you to borrow your pencils in the middle of the year, you're not getting it back. They're planning on keeping it the rest of the year because they already lost theirs, so they'll probably use yours. What? They already lost theirs, so they'll probably lose yours. Or they're just planning on keeping it for the rest of the year because they didn't supply themselves with pencils. Sharing pencils is annoying because no one gives them back. Tip number 8. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Like, don't be afraid to get a tutor. Even if you're a smart kid, getting a tutor really will help you. So don't be afraid to ask questions in class, or ask your friends or family for help, or ask to get a tutor, because if you feel like that's what you need, then it's gonna help you, and it's gonna make you a better student and make you just better at what you need to get done. Yay? Yay. Tip number 9 is, even if a teacher tells you it's just a quiz or it's an easy test, still study. Something that's helped me and a lot of people is flashcards. Flashcards don't work for some people, but I recommend trying them because they're a great way to test yourself if no one can help you study, and for families to test you, and for fun study games with your friends. Also, hold on, my dog is killing him. Also, study groups. Study groups are a great way to study if you know you're not going to mess around. If you think you are, maybe plan some time to just mess around and then get down to business, or study first and make it a goal. If we study for an hour, we can just do whatever and we're done. Because then you can play games, which really helps studying. Like if you have flashcards, you can play games like that. Just things like that in general. Sometimes study groups work. It honestly just depends on you with study groups and flashcards, but both of those have worked for me for different tests. It depends. The last but not least, tip number 10. Don't stress too much. Just have fun, because you're probably going to be stressing in high school and college and everything else from beyond, and middle school isn't as important. It's just preparing you for high school. So yes, use all the preparation you can, but don't stress about it too much. So if you couldn't tell from most of these tips, the main idea of all of this was to not just worry about now, worry about the long run. Don't worry, like, what I mean by that is, don't worry about what you want to be doing right now. Like, if you have homework that you could finish now, not to worry about, don't be like, but I don't want to do it now, I'll do it later. Later, you're not going to want to do it either, so just get it out of the way. Or just with being with the right group of people for you, in the long run, it's going to be so much better, because you're going to have friends that can support you very well, because you all like the same things. So that was this week's video. I hope I helped you in some sort of way or something. I apologize once again for the lighting. I was just choosing a really bad time to film, which wasn't a good idea. Be sure to check out my main channel and everybody else's videos this week, and I'll be seeing you guys every Friday. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this week's video and theme. And yeah, see you next week, cool cats. I swear if I have to redo this video, I'm gonna... stupid son is... He's stupid.